I'm Gary Lefman. I am a chartered engineer and internationalization architect for Cisco, and it's my job to make sure that all of Cisco's products are ready to be used by people all around the world, regardless of their language, their culture, where they live, where they work, where they play. I am here to collaborate with some of the greatest minds in the localization industry. The forums similar to this are like a melting pot of great ideas. And I've come along to share my ideas and hopefully take away some great ideas and answers to some of the questions that I have. The IT industry as a whole is generally challenged by the problems that we are facing with, what should we call it? It's international user experience. It's a problem that has grown rapidly recently due to the last 20 years or so of software development speeding up, and developers generally don't take into consideration internationalization problems. So a lot of the challenges we have actually stem from the lack of education. So education is certainly one of the areas we need to tackle in terms of internationalization and localization awareness. And also the kind of tools that we use, or the tools that we give to developers in order to make sure that their software is ready to be used by people around the world. I agree that technology is certainly advancing rapidly. The kind of technology that we're using in the localization industry as a whole is, I would say, becoming a little stagnant. We're finding that a lot of time and money and resources, research, is going into machine translation. But there is very little benefit from that. And I think that's probably a little bit of a waste of money. We could actually spend more time looking at providing better resources for internationalization and getting the type of things that we work with, the products, the documentation, the content, and getting that ready for localization. Yes, I have. That's one of the things I do when I go to conference, is to get my ear down to the ground and listen to the vibe that's going on at conferences like Lockworld. And over the years, I have come up with a number of, not so much predictions, but I'm getting a good feel, a good vibe of what's going on in the industry. And I think it was in 2012, I caught up with the whole push towards agile localization. I'll say agile localization in quotes, because it's something that didn't really last very long. And I think that's because agile localization as a concept really was a symptom of the development processes at the time, which was agile. Whereas if we look at things like continuous localization, which I detected was becoming a trend in the middle of 2016, and that's something that really has gained some roots within the localization industry. And in fact, it became the theme for the whole 2017 Lockworld conferences. So that was, I won't say a prediction, but certainly it was a direction I could see the whole industry moving in. This year, 2018, I have completed my full set of Lockworld conferences, and I can quite safely say that the trend this year is to double down on continuous localization. Having quizzed a few of the chief executives of senior localization service providers, I was able to get a sensation that they were going to be doing this over the next year, maybe the next 18 months. However, that's not to say that new technology that's coming up is becoming a trend. It's not quite a trend yet, but it's certainly something to be looking at, and that's the distributed ledger. and how that impacts the translators, the people who work in the localization service providers, the clients, and also the end users. So that's something I would like to really pay attention in the next year or so.